Hello and welcome back to Minecraft All the Mods 10. Yay. Okay, so in between, I've gotten the rest of these Supremium Essences I need for the Diamond Seeds, so let's go ahead and get that going. I also have enough Inferium Essence to make the one more I am going to need in order to make the farmland that will be needed to grow them. Let's go ahead and just kind of get that done. I also used up the last of that other infusion crystal, so we are on to our master crystal now, which is doing a good job pulling its weight here. Bam. Yes, it was several hours of just waiting is basically what I ended up doing in between here. All right, so crystal can go away, hoe can come out, as can a piece of dirt. And we go boop, a boop, a boop. There we go, Supremium Farmland. Just like that. All right, so let's grab our seeds. So this is all done here. I'm gonna end up rearranging this at some point, but for the moment, that should do. I'm not going to set up a chest on this one just yet. I have a plan to rearrange some of this. I kind of realized that there is a power output on or plug on the top of these. So I might be able to get these guys a little bit closer together. I think I'm going to move them downstairs. If I move them down to the same level as the reactor, then I will have plenty of room to put the power on the top, pack these guys a bit closer. I think I am going to do one more thing. So we're going to end up obviously having to wait for that diamond essence to craft before I can do some of the other stuff I was planning on. But for the moment, I want to make some more conduits. I want to make the item conduits. Pulsating alloy nugget is the thing we need, which, you know, we'll be able to get enough for three crafts worth out of a single ingot. The ingots, of course, alloy smelting, iron ingot, and any type of ender pearl. Well, hey, look. All that work we did getting some ender pearls. Oh, hey, look. Oh, that's nickel. Hey, look, an iron ingot. Here we go. Boop, boop. And just like that, we will have that. So let's go ahead. 3 crafts at 6. So 6, 12, 18. We need 18 conduit binder, just like so. Oh, and I was just about to check it and it came out. Alright, so let's go ahead and get some item conduits made. Like that. And that. There we go. Item conduits. Beautiful. At some point, I am going to need to fix this, because I want to use these conduits for this setup as well, so that we can put the oak saplings that get harvested directly back into the system. But I'm probably going to finish setting up my ME system first, so that, you know, we have some place to put all of the stuff. For the moment, however, we need to wait on these diamond seeds to make enough to make more diamonds, because we are in need of more applied energistics stuff. Let's just kind of do at applied. Let's take a quick look down here, see exactly what we're missing, remind ourselves what we're missing. So we have our terminal, we have our controller. What we need is a drive and some disks to put in it. That is really annoying. There is something I'm going to do about that before too long, though. Don't we worry about that. Now that we are going to have diamonds on craft. Alright, so we need the drive. Let's start with the drive. Drive. I think that is what we are waiting on. Yes, we need 2 diamonds to make our drive. Everything else we kind of have. Do I have any of those fluix? Yes, I have some in my backpack. Alright, so yeah, we are literally waiting on 2 diamonds in order to make our drive. And then, what else do we need? We need the discs. They're not actually called discs. They are called cells. Right. Those are portable cells. I don't need the portable one. Item storage cell. All right. To make these, we need the storage components, which is a logic processor. We're going to need a bunch of gold. So we can probably set up some of the stuff. Do I have any more of the gold out here? I have some. And I have some of that. Not as much as I would like, but we can always get more. Oh yeah, I was processing iron. I forgot. All right, so I'm going to process some resources. We're going to wait for the diamonds to be ready, and I will be back in just a few minutes in order to, get all of this stuff going for part 3 of Applied Energistics. Be right back. Alright, I am back. We have 18 diamond essence now. We just got that. Reason I needed 18 is because we need 2 diamonds, and as you can see, each diamond takes 9. So we'll just move both of those. Bam, we have our 2 diamonds. And let's press forward. So we are looking for the disk drive. ME drive. Alright, so we need 2 engineering processors. We need the printed engineering circuit, which is the diamonds, some redstone, and some printed silicon. We are going to need 2 of those printed silicons, so do we have any silicon around? I know I had some. Where did all of the silicon go? What did I do with it? Ah, there we go. I stuck it in there. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, let's start with the silicon, get those out of the way. Then we will do the diamonds, and then we can do that. I still am going to need another inscriber, I think. Just so I have one I can make the actual, circuits in, and not have to keep pulling the press in and out. The press by itself already reduces the total number I need, by 3. So I need 1 instead of 4. But if I can just kind of have that second one. So basically it'd be 2 instead of 5. Because I don't want to have to keep pulling this thing in and out now that I have it, Just kind of makes sense to me. All right. So we are now going to need, I believe it was 2 of the fluix things. Yep, and then some iron. Iron butterfly. All right. Bam, bam, bam. We have our drive. All right, we are 1 component away from having a functional ME system. I'm going to mess with this a little bit too, but you know what? Let's mess with it right now. All right, we're going to take this guy, stick it there. We're going to take this guy, and as much as I hate it, stick it there. And we'll do that. We'll probably end up replacing this with one of the non-dense version of the smart cable. Because that way I can color it, and then I can have stuff come off this way, and maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, we're going to stick our drive right there. And as you can see, 1 channel is now getting used. Now, fortunately enough, the devices in Applied Energistics will allow up to 8 channels to pass through them, so I can put 7 more connected to this drive and just have it connect through the 1 set of cables. And since each one of these gives us 10 spots for cells, we'll be able to go a long time before we have to worry about, oh, we need a second bay of drives. This will do for quite some time. All right, so we are 1 component away from having a functional ME system. I am really getting annoyed with all of these things. I'm gonna do something about that probably next episode because I don't think I'm gonna have the time for it right now. But we are now at that point, so we need cells, and I have decided that we are going to shoot for the 16K storage cell. Why is that? Well, as you can see, there is a maximum of 63 types of items in a storage cell. That does not change until you end up going to different types. Obviously, like the fluid ones, that's different. The chemical ones, that's different. The, stuff of that nature. But as far as items go, it is always 63. Always, always, always. So, that means that we only need to worry about 63 types of things, yada, 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 all that jazz. So, while the 256 is available, it's going to be a long time before we need that. It's going to be a long time before we even need the 64K. The 16 should do us just fine. So the main thing we need is this 16K storage component, which is made of a calculation processor and 3 of these 4K. Well, the 4K are a calculation processor and 3 of the 1K. All right, and that's a logic processor on those. So, we are going to need... All right, so hang on. That's not what I wanted. Toggle shader. Okay, I hit the wrong button. All right, so each one of these takes 3 of those. All right, so we need 3, so that's going to need 9 of these. Each one takes 3 of... Wait, each one takes... All right, so we got... All right, 1 of these. 3 of these. Each one of those is 3. That's 9. So we need 9 of these logic processors. We will start there. You go in, please. We will grab 9 of the printed silicon, or of the silicon to be printed. I believe it is nighttime. Let's take care of that before we start getting even more monster noises. Or some of those rare spawns or anything like that. There we go. So yeah, the main thing we're going to have to deal with is more cells, not so much bigger cells. The 16 is going to be plenty big enough. We are going to need 9 of these, so we'll go ahead and do that. We've just got a little bit longer to go on this, and then as soon as I put the silicon in, I will go over and start worrying about some of the rest of the stuff. There we go. Silicon in, those out. Oh, my throat is suddenly having issues. But we can come... Oh, that's not the quartz. This is the regular quartz. As you can see, I've got tons of this stuff. And tons of this stuff. Mostly because of the time I was waiting on the other essence. The Inferium. In between episodes. So, man, what is with my throat? All right, hang on a second. I'm going to, clear my throat and be right back. Okay, I think that did it. All right, we're going to grab this out. We're going to do that. We're going to go boop, 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 just like so. Let those 9 print. All right, so what else do we need? Well, we're getting the 16, so we're going to go all the way down to the 1. We need quartz and redstone, which, of course, if you noticed, I already went and grabbed things for. So, do that. We'll have as much of that as we need. We'll do that. We will say we need as much of that as we need. There we go. All right, that should be plenty for our purposes. I didn't counter anything. I was just like, yeah, we'll just make a bunch. All right, so that's there. What else are we going to need? Let's start looking at the other things we need. So, that is going to take a calculation processor, and each one of those is going to take a calculation processor. So we're going to need 4 of those in total. So we're going to need 4 more silicon. We're going to grab you guys, put you in, put you in. All right. Now we're going to need 4 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will do that pretty much as soon as that is ready. Because I would like to have that out of my inventory before I start making the smaller ones. I really should have put that in first. And see, my throat's already doing a thing. It must just be my allergies, which I only really have one of, which means it must be a high mold count day. Fun. All right, so we're looking for the 16. We need the 1. Let's do that. We have 9. There's our 9. Beautiful. All right, what else are we going to need for the 4? The 4... Oh, quartz glass. Really? Certus quartz dust. Now, I could just go make some Certus quartz dust, but, let's just do this instead. That should probably be fine, right? There we go. Alright. Do I have glass? Not on my person. Was it up here? Oh, no, wait, I know. I have glass in this container here. Yeah. And I should have enough glass left to move that. There we go. 4. Beautiful. Alright. You. Excellent. Alright, so we're going to need 4 of this. You. We're going to need 3 for our initial batch, so I'm going to grab the 3 as soon as it comes out. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. Alright, I'm going to let the last one print while I do this. We want the 4K. Bam. 3 of those. Beautiful. Now we are going to need the 16, which will require that one more. I got that one more piece of quartz glass. 4 glowstone dust. Do I have any glowstone sitting around? Wait a minute. Let's check here. No. Okay. Annoying that I will have to break down one more piece. I think I'm going to focus on getting the seed for the glowstones before much longer. Alright, how do I turn you into dust the best? Segmill... Yeah, enrichment chamber. I thought it was the enrichment chamber. Enrichment chamber, in you go. You are there. You are done. We can stick you back in. We're just waiting on this. Bam. I do want to see... Alright. R. Okay. Yeah, that's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. We'll be able to do that before too long. I'll probably even do that one off camera. You guys have seen me make enough seeds now. What am I looking for? Oh, right, the 16K. Oh, that's going to take a bit more quartz glass. That's annoying. All right, well, we got our 16K storage component. Excellent. Now, how do I make you? That is just with the quartz glass. All right, I'm going to need a little bit more quartz dust then. I did it with 4 last time. Let's see. Oh, or I can do it with 3 this time. Okay, so... Right. We need you, that. There we go. And then we're going to need a copper and 2 iron, it looked like. We can just go 16K. Bam. There we go. We have our first storage cell. And with all of the other components we have now got a functional storage system. Now, all this is at the moment is storage, which is boring. So we've got at least one upgrade I want to do before we are done with the episode. And that is a crafting terminal. So we'll just take our regular terminal, a crafting table, and a calculation processor. We're going to grab our terminal, just like that. I do not have a non... How do I turn you into the smart cable? I think it has to be the wool-covered thing. I'll worry about that later. For now, you can just stay like that. So, we need that. I can make a crafting table right now. Just like so. Excellent. We're gonna need 1 of you. We're gonna need one of you. And we're gonna need to take that, and that, and that, and one of these, and one of those. And just like so, we have our calculation processor. Alright, so now ME crafting terminal. And now we will be able to craft with anything we have in our system. Perfect. That said, we should probably start populating that. Oh, look, an egg. We have an egg in there. Oh, look, some nether quartz, some redstone, that quartz glass, some regular glass, Certus quartz. Let's stick a bit more of the redstone in. Alright, so I can populate this up to 63 items because I have this. You know, I have 6 of 63 types. Now, I'm probably going to make a few more of these 16K cells. I'll probably do that off camera, though, in between episodes. Let's just take a quick peek here. We have enough for one more diamond, which is not the 2 more I was hoping for. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. One more thing I would like to do before the end of the episode is make something that is not related to this at all. That is... Nope, that's the wrong one. Where is it? I know you're in here. There you are. The Mega Torch. Couple blocks of gold, some logs, a couple of diamonds, and some torches. And what this guy does, prevents natural spawning of hostile monsters in a big radius around the torch. Remember how I was complaining about there being all those mobs down there and, kind of hiding in my walls? Well, that'll prevent that. So as soon as I have a second diamond, I'm making one of those, sticking it down by my reactor, and calling that good for the time being. But we got a little bit of a wait before we got that. So is there anything else we can accomplish in the remaining time today? That's a good question, because I don't want to start moving those. I'm going to move those off camera, and I will just show it off once I've got them down here. Well, there is something else that would be nice to do. But it would only be nice. It's not like a super mandatory. And that is, if I could go up 2 layers, pass through here, up to here, I would like to connect this to my ME system. Because there is a way to connect the ME system to outside storages and not have them, basically using up cells. So, let's take a quick look at that. Alright, so that should be called an external storage. That's a storage bus. Storage bus, I think, is the thing, yeah. Alright, the storage monitor, those are crafting storage. Energy storage, yeah. Alright, so storage bus, which is an ME interface and a couple of pistons. And I sneeze randomly without being able to stop things in time. Oh well, you gotta sneeze. Alright, so we got formation core, annihilation core. I have a spare one of each of those. A little bit of regular glass and some iron. That's not terrible. And definitely doable. Of course, the problem is I put all of my glass in the ME system, which means I gotta come back down. I'll end up, putting some additional terminals around, too. So, that's a thing. Alright, so let's see. We need... Where'd you go? Interface. Like that. And he pulled the additional stuff I needed out of storage, instead of... Uh-oh. I think I've got a big lag spike from an achievement. Uh-oh. Yep, there we go. Quest complete. Okay. Store items. Return items. Take items. Okay. Okay, interesting. They've altered that just a little bit. All right, so we have an interface. Well, we're going to need 2 pistons. Not that big a deal. We're going to need a couple more iron. I probably should have grabbed those in the first place, but oops. I've got some redstone on me. I've got some of that. I just need that. All right, boop. Like so. All right, so we need pistons. Like that. And then I don't even need to click the thing because I can just do this. There we go. Storage bus. Excellent. Limitless potential. All right. Now, we're going to have to look at the functional storage mod. And find one of the items that is part of it. Storage controller. There you are. All right. That, 2 drawers of any type. Stone has to be, like, all right, regular stone. And then blocks of quartz. That's not bad. I mean, normally the quartz would be an issue, but it's definitely not. I have enough on me, even. Let's just try and do this. I'm going to need some sticks, however. 3, I believe. All right. Let's just, controller. Storage controller. All right, let's start with this. Oops, I needed more of those. There we go. I need some actual, like, cooked stone. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Beautiful. You. There we go. Good. All right, so we're going to need some of this. Some of this. All right, and then the quartz. Except I only need 2 of these. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And then 4 of any of this stuff. There we go, storage controller. So I will be able to slap this guy down. I'm going to probably stick it, like, here. And then I'm going to actually connect with another drawer. And then all that'll need to be done is the storage bus. Just come down here for a sec. We'll get slapped onto the bottom of this guy. There we go. And then we'll just be able to pipe it down, basically. Oh, okay, that's convenient, actually. We'll just be able to pipe it on down and straight into the system. That'll just require some cables, which I will end up doing at some point, which is not this exact moment. But just know that that's all that's needed. I'll probably do that off camera. All right, we are just about out of time, but do we have... Not quite. We could probably start on the other bits and bobs, though. We've got torches, obviously. We've got logs, obviously. We are going to need 18 gold to turn into blocks. Like so. Shove that in there for a moment. And then we're just going to need our 2 diamonds. So I will come back in just a moment. I will wrap us up with us getting the Mega Torch, and that'll do it for the episode. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We've got our 18 diamond essence, which means we have enough to make our Mega Torch. Alright, let's turn those into diamonds. And then, I believe it was that in the middle, those at the bottom, those up above, and then 3 torches to top it off. There we go. We have our Mega Torch. Like I said, we're going to go stick this down here right next to the old reactor. And that'll take care of those noises. Now, it's going to take some time for the ones that are in existence to despawn. But once they do, new ones won't be spawning anymore. Let's go ahead and turn our reactor on here. And just get a little bit of power. Good enough for me. We don't want our ME system to suddenly run out of power on us. All right. I'm going to make some more drives. I'm going to get this thing connected to our ingot storage up top and probably put another terminal up there. That is pretty much the extent of what I am planning on doing in between episodes, so we can come back next time and move on to something that isn't applied energistics. I'm not entirely sure what yet, but it'll be something. I also might end up moving those garden cloches down here too. Depends on how much time I have in between and before coming up with what the heck I'm doing next. All right, that is going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.